everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how to knit the left front part of the seed stitch cardigan. Here we have finished working on the back part and the right front part, and here I've attached my stitch markers for where I will be making the buttonholes when working on the left front part. So you can attach as many buttons as you like, and you can just evenly space them apart. That's completely up to you. So I'm going to attach 5 buttons, and this is how I have spaced them. So let's begin working on the left front part. So I have finished working on the ribbing of the left front part. It's the same as the right front part, and the only difference is that you will reverse the shapings. So you made the button band for the right front part on this side, so you will make the button band for the left front part on this side. So that is the only difference. You will just keep reversing the shapings. You will make the button band on this side, and it's going to look like this. So for the right front part, the button band was over here, and the left front part, the button band will be over here. Similarly, you made the armhole on this side. So for the left front part, you will make the armhole on this side. So this is how you will keep on working, reversing all the shapings. And the other difference will be that you will be making the buttonholes on the button band. So I have finished working up till here, and I have made my increase as well. So you will work the same number of rows as you did for the back part and the right front part. So make sure that you have the same number of rows. So I made a total of 16 rows, and the 16th row was my increase row. So I finished working on that, as you can see over here. Let me place it like this. So it's right here. And now after finishing the increase row, we will change the needle to the 4mm needle, and we will also make a buttonhole for our first button. So now we will begin working on making the first buttonhole. So to make the first buttonhole and all the other buttonholes, we will work the first 3 stitches in the seed stitch pattern that we have. So for the seed stitch pattern, if you have a purl, you will knit it, and if you have a knit, you will purl it. So the first 3 stitches we will work in the seed stitch pattern, purl the knits and knit the purls. Then stitch number 4 and 5 of the button band, we will bind them off. So after binding these 2 stitches off to create a hole for the button, then stitch number 6 and 7 we will work in the same seed stitch pattern as we were working for the button band throughout this pattern, throughout this part. So after working the 7 stitches of the button band and making the hole for the button, we will purl the rest of the stitches if you are on the back side, if you are on the wrong side, and when we are on the right side, we will knit the rest of the stitches. So as we are on the purl side, as we are on the wrong side over here, what we are going to do is we're going to work the first 3 stitches in the seed stitch pattern. So the first stitch that we have is a knit. So we are going to, is a purl. So we're going to knit it, and I am using my 4mm needle, so I'm transferring all the stitches on this bigger size needle for the body. So along with transferring the stitches on the other needle, we will make the buttonhole for the left front part. So the first stitch is a purl, so we will knit it, and then we have a knit, so we will purl it, and then we have a purl, so we will knit it. Now we have our 3 stitches of the button band done. Now stitch number 4 and 5 we will cast them off. So we will work the 4th stitch now. It's a knit, so we will purl it. We will purl it like this, and then this is a purl, so we will knit it. So like this, knit it, and then we will bind off the 4th stitch. Then we have our next stitch, which is the 6th stitch. It's a knit, so we will purl it, and then we will bind off the 5th oops, we will bind off the 5th stitch. Slipped off my needle. We will bind it off like this, and then the 7th stitch is left, so we are going to knit it since it's a pearl. So here we have our hole made for the button. Now the rest of the stitches we will work in stockinette stitch. So since we are at the wrong side, we're going to purl the rest of the stitches, and I'll see you after I have finished working on this row. So here I have finished working on row number 1 of the left front body. So that is after finishing the 16 rows of the ribbing, I have started working on row number 1 of the body. So here I have made the buttonhole by binding off 2 stitches in the button band. Now we will work on row number 2 of the body, which is on the right side. So all of these stitches we will knit because we are working in the stockinette stitch, and for stockinette stitch we will knit all of the stitches on the right side and purl all of the stitches on the wrong side. So I will see you after I have reached the button band. So I have reached the part of the button band, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 stitches, and because we bind off 2 stitches in the previous row. So now we will work the button band stitches in the seed stitch pattern. So since this is a knit, we are going to purl it, and then this is a purl, so we are going to knit it, and then we have the space, and we have to close this space on this row. So on one row we will bind off 2 stitches to create the hole, and then on the next row we will cast on 2 stitches to cover up that hole. So now we are going to cast on 2 stitches. So this is our first stitch and this is our second stitch. Now we have casted on 2 stitches, and we will work the rest of the stitches in the same way. So we have a purl, so we are going to knit it, then we have a knit, so we will purl it, and then we have a purl, so we will knit it. And in this way you can see we have created this buttonhole for our buttons. Now we will begin working on row number 3 of the body of the left front part. So we will work the button band in the same way that we have been working. We have a purl in the first stitch, so we will knit it. Then our second stitch is a knit, so we are going to purl it. Then our third stitch is a purl, so we will knit it, and then the next stitch. So the first stitch was a knit, then purl. So the first stitch was a knit, then purl, then knit. Now the fourth stitch is going to be a purl, so we are going to go in that stitch. Now this stitch is going to be a little tight because we casted them on, so it is going to be a bit tight to work with. So just you have to get in there. So just like that we are going to try to go in there, and then we are going to purl that stitch. Now the next stitch has to be a knit, because in seed stitch 1 purl 1 knit. So we have finished making our first buttonhole right here. So the first stitch was a knit, then a purl, then a knit, and then these 2 stitches were the stitches that we casted on. So after a knit we worked a purl in the next stitch, and then the next stitch was a knit, then again a purl, and then again a knit. So in this way you will keep making your buttonholes. You will bind off 2 stitches in the first row, in the row which you want to make a buttonhole. So you will bind off 2 stitches and then work the rest of the row. Then when you are on the next row, you will cast on 2 stitches at the same space where you did a bind off of 2 stitches, and then on the next row you will work those 2 stitches that you casted on in the same seed stitch pattern. Now here we have made our first buttonhole, and we will keep on working in this way until we reach the part where we did the bind off and the shaping for the armhole. So you will just keep on working in stockinette stitch and the seat stitch pattern for the button band, and along with that you will keep on making the buttonholes where you want them to be. I will write it in the description box below, the number of rows where I have made the buttonholes. So if anyone is following my exact pattern or my exact length which I am making, so it can be easier for them. But if you are making this on according to your own size, then you will just keep on working the buttonholes where you want them, and you will keep working the rest of the body in the stockinette stitch. So you will knit all the stitches on the right side and then purl all the stitches on the wrong side. So over here you will just purl all the stitches, as you can see over here, and then on this side you will knit all the stitches, and you will keep on working your buttonholes the way I have shown you wherever you want to make the buttonhole. So in this way we will keep on working until we reach the armhole. So I have finished working up till the armhole decrease. The armhole decrease will be worked in the same way as we did for the right front part. The only difference is going to be that for the right front part we started the decrease on the purl side, and for the left front part we will make the decrease on the right side. And another thing that we have to make sure of is that we have the same number of rows for both the sides, otherwise they will end up one being longer than the other one. So it's good if you make a note of all the rows that you make, so that you have an idea of how many rows you have completed for each part, and so that they are equal. So for the right front part we made a decrease of 5 stitches for the armhole, and then the next row was knit all the stitches. Then again on the next row we did a decrease of 2 stitches, and then again the next row was knit all the stitches without any decrease, and then again there was a decrease of 2 stitches on the purl side, and then the next row was knit all the stitches. Now for the left front part you will make the decrease on the right side, on the knit side, because for the left front part you will make the armhole on this side, and for the right front part you made the armhole on this side. So you will decrease 5 stitches at the beginning of the row, and then the next row you will purl all the stitches without any decrease. Then you will decrease 2 stitches on the right side, then again the next row will be purl all the stitches without any decrease, and then again the last decrease for the armhole will be again 2 stitches, and then the next row you will purl all the stitches. And after this you will begin working on your seat stitch yoke. So that will be worked in the same way as you did for the right. So as you did for the right front part, you started increasing 1 stitch in the seat stitch pattern and decreasing 1 stitch in the stockinette stitch pattern, and in this way you kept on working until all of your stitches were worked in the seat stitch pattern. So in this way you will work the left front part as well. You will keep working the 7 stitches in the beginning for your button band, and you will also keep making your buttonholes, and you will keep decreasing 1 stitch in the stockinette stitch pattern and increasing 1 stitch in the seat stitch pattern in each row until all of your stitches are worked in the seat stitch pattern. I finished working all of my stitches in the seat stitch pattern now. As you can see, we started from over here, and then we started increasing 1 stitch in the seat stitch pattern and decreasing 1 stitch in the stockinette stitch pattern, and in this way we reached the point where all of our stitches were worked in the seat stitch design. Now we will decrease for the neck shaping. So for that, for the right front part we were decreasing on the knit side, on the right side, but for the left front part, since this is where the neck is going to be and this is where we made the armhole shaping. So we are going to start decreasing at the wrong side, which is the pearl side. So making sure that you have the exact same number of rows, you will start shaping your neck in the same way that you made the right front part. So you will decrease stitches in the same way that I have shown you for the right front part. The only difference is going to be that this time you will decrease, you will bind off the stitches on the pearl side for the left front part, and for the right front part you were binding off the stitches on the right side, which is the knit side. So here I have finished working on the left front part as well, and here we have shaped the neck and the shoulders, and we did a bind off after finishing the shoulders. So this completes your left front part, and as you can see we have made 5 buttonholes and they are evenly spaced apart. So you can make as many buttonholes as you like, it's up to you, but just make sure that they are evenly spaced apart. So this completes the left front part, and I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please show your support by liking, commenting and subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.